Hello everyone, today you'll learn how to create a partition on Windows 10 or 11. A partition is a part of your hard drive that you can use for different purposes. It's easy to create a partition, but you need to do it right. Let's begin and see how. First, you need to open the Disk Management tool. You can do this by pressing the Windows key +R and typing diskmem.msc and hitting Enter. Alternatively, you can right-click on the Start menu and select Disk Management from the list. This will open a window that shows you all the disks and partitions on your computer. Next, you need to select the disk that you want to partition. In my case, I have only one disk, which is disk 0. You can see that it has two partitions, a system reserved partition and a primary partition. The system reserved partition is used by Windows for booting and recovery, and the primary partition is where Windows and all your files are stored. You can also see how much space is used and how much is free on each partition by right-clicking on the partition and selecting Properties. This will open a window that shows you the General tab where you can see the capacity, used space, and free space of the partition. In my case, the primary partition has a total capacity of 475 gigabytes, out of which 123 gigabytes are used and 352 gigabytes are free. That means I have 74% of free space on the primary partition. To create a new partition, you need to shrink the existing primary partition and make some unallocated space. To do this, right-click on the primary partition and select Shrink Volume. This will open a dialog box that shows you the size of the partition and the amount of space you can shrink it by. You can enter the amount of space you want to shrink in megabytes or use the slider to adjust it. I recommend leaving at least 20% of free space on the primary partition for optimal performance. In my case, I'm going to shrink it by 50 gigabytes, which is 51,200 megabytes. Then, click on Shrink. After that, you will see that a new section of unallocated space has appeared on the disk. This is where you can create your new partition. Right-click on the unallocated space and select New Simple Volume. This will launch a wizard that will guide you through the process of creating and formatting the partition. Click on Next. On the first screen, you can specify the size of the partition. By default, it will use all the available space, but you can change it if you want. I'm going to leave it as it is and click on Next. On the second screen, you can assign a drive letter to the partition. This is how you will access the partition from Windows Explorer. You can choose any letter that is not already in use. I'm going to choose E and click on Next. On the third screen, you can format the partition. This will erase any data on the partition and prepare it for use. You can choose the file system, the allocation unit size, and the volume label. The file system is how Windows organizes and stores your files. The most common file system is NTFS, which is compatible with Windows 10 and 11. The allocation unit size is the smallest unit of space that can be used to store a file. The default value is usually fine, but you can change it if you have specific needs. The volume label is the name of the partition that will appear in Windows Explorer. You can choose any name you want. I'm going to name it Data and click on Next. On the final screen, you can review your settings and confirm the creation of the partition. Click on Finish. Finally, you will see that a new partition has been created on the disk with the drive letter and the name you chose. It will also show you the size, the file system, and the status of the partition. You can now use this partition to store your files, install another operating system, or whatever you want. To access the partition, just open Windows Explorer and look for the drive letter under this PC. And that's it. You have successfully created a partition on Windows 10 or 11. I hope you found this video helpful and informative. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more videos like this. Thank you for watching and see you next time.